Okay. All right. Well, welcome. Oh, somebody's got some background. Welcome to our, I forget what day it is today.
Monday, September 12th.
There we go. Monday, September 12th, our team meeting. And today what we're going to be talking about, we got a lot of attention around this particular topic. So I'm really excited to do this with all of you. Tonight what we're going to do is do some role playing and use this, go through some scenarios of how we will handle objections, things that you guys are coming up with against, in the field and just in your day-to-day activities. And the first and foremost thing that I want to really impress upon you is that, I made a commitment to myself in this business that I was never going to let anything, get in the way of my progression. So I think sometimes we come up against these things and they can turn into like this huge roadblock, and oftentimes when you don't know how to handle it the first time, then it shows up again and again and again. And I think that's life's way of really teaching you how to overcome obstacles and, take a step and grow. So if you're finding a pattern of stuff, that's really important that you talk to your upline about that and get some support and coaching around it, because, it's all about getting our skills. Hey, Kristen. Yay. I haven't seen her in a while. Sharpening your skills and feeling more comfortable in what you're doing. Okay. So that's what tonight's all about. So let's be a little silly and have some fun and, and just kind of talk through some of these things and take notes so that you feel really comfortable about, when you come up with it the next time or come up against it, because some of these things are over and over again. So the first thing that I did after looking at some of the curious questions that you guys had was I went straight to our virtual office, and I want to show you something. So I'm going to go into share screen mode for a quick second here and pull up. Here we go. Share screen. Okay. Can you guys all see my screen now?
Yep.
Okay. I am going to go in here and show you a resource that's super helpful, because there are the 5 most common objections or questions that we have, okay? And the virtual office is a really great resource to help you overcome some of this stuff. So I want to take you to a tool, and I want the new people to feed into this and let me know when you see this. Oh, I'm echoing some. Okay. When we go into the training section here. Hey, Mom, is that you? Or you mute?
What?
I want to mute you.
Okay.
A second. Okay, we go into the training section, and then down here, when it pulls up, here we go. All right, there's a section called team building. It's the first one at the top, okay? And this is really the place that you're going to go and see most of what you're looking for when you're looking for building your business and resources and that kind of stuff. I go here probably once a day, honestly, for stuff. So the first thing that they give you right here is this thing called the JPVF Starter Guide. And if you click on it, it will take you to this. And this is a document that used to come in our startup packets, and it's a booklet, okay? And now they put it up here. So I just printed one out. But it gives you a letter from Jay Martin. It takes you in Let's Get Started. It's taking you through all the simple steps. We do things a little bit differently using our 1225 system, but it basically, if you didn't have a coach, if you didn't have an active team, you could go here, print this out, and you would know exactly what to do just by following these steps, okay? So create your own product story, create your own Juice Plus events. It goes through all of this. But the key piece that I want to show you tonight is on page 9. I think it is. Here we go. Most frequently asked questions and answers about Juice Plus. So you guys, no, I'm not kidding. It was so funny. I was like, yeah, these are pretty much all the ones that we have for tonight. So what's happening to my system? Oh, don't do that. Hold on. Where'd you guys go? Somehow I lost something. Hello.
I think you just swiped it. Can you swipe it back?
Yes, Mac. Where did you go? Thank you. Okay. So what does it cost, right? I found that people can't afford to stay healthy. It gives you some really positive language and responses to some of these answers. So I would encourage you guys to print this page out, or print out the whole sheet if you want to, the booklet, and just kind of take a look through here. But this is really kind of cool. Why can't I just buy it 1 month at a time? Does anybody get that one? Because I get that a lot of the time. And why do I need Juice Plus? I already take vitamins, all these things, right? So where's the bottom one at the end? My computer wants to think now for a second, so I'm going to switch back to here. All right, stop share. Okay. But I wanted to take you there to show you that some of these things are already available to you. And we thought it was, after looking at some of the stuff, Danielle and I were kind of chatting, and I said, hey, what would be really cool is if we challenge the team to go out and explore the resources that we do have and find your favorite tool. Like, everybody find your favorite tool and then come back to the call, and maybe we'll do next week. Maybe we'll decide which week we're going to do it, because we might have a trainer next week for you guys. But if we don't, here, I'm going to take a smile of all the people who aren't. We have no faces. Where are all the faces? Who are these people? I'm going to call them out. But basically, find your favorite resource and bring it back to us, because you may find something that I don't know anything about. I mean, I keep giving credit to Bree, because she was the one who found that sheet for the 1225, which created an entire system for our team. I mean, it's so awesome. And I just wasn't in a place where I had the time to go in and search for some of the resources. And a lot of times when you've been in the business for a while, I can say this for probably Buffy and my mom and myself, like, we've been here a long time. So we've seen all these different things come through, right? And so sometimes you think you know it all, but then somebody new comes up and goes, hey, look what I found. It's really cool. So I'd encourage you guys to go do that. So that's there. So let's do a little bit of this. So the first one I have here is my doctor told me not to take supplements. I already eat well, and my family does too. We eat plenty of fruits and vegetables. Okay. Does anybody want to take a stab at how to handle that?
That's great.
Any brave souls? Can't do a role play without people to role play with.
The servings are 9 to 12 servings of fruits and vegetables a day. Do you eat that many?
Right. Okay. That's one way to handle it. Yep. Okay. So what I always try to do is this, right? So my doctor told me, right? So you already hear that the doctor thing is important to them. Okay. Not to take supplements. I already eat well. So they've already established that they don't feel like they need anything else. Right. And my family does too. So apparently everybody in their family is eating perfect, right, all the time. And we eat plenty of fruits and vegetables. So what I try to do is, you guys have heard me say this before, is I try to get on their side of the fence, okay? Try to see it from their perspective. When I first started out with this whole thing, I felt the same way too. I truly did. I felt like I was eating healthy. Like, I ate salmon and Caesar salads. I had no idea that the salmon was farm raised and, eating pellets of color so it would look a certain way. Like, I had no idea, right? I just thought I was doing all the right things. I was drinking diet soda. I wasn't drinking regular soda, Oh, there's Luann. Hi. Look at her pretty face. Luann's new, you guys. Welcome her.
Hi.
That's awesome.
I was at home with no bra and I had to go and throw on a bra. Sorry.
You're welcome no matter what. Look at me.
I hope it's all ladies in here.
That's awesome. Come as you are, right? Okay, so trying to get on their side of the fence. So here's somebody who thinks they don't have a need. They don't have a need yet, right? So our job is to find the needs and offer solutions. So I would ask them questions around that. Wow, that's awesome. You guys are eating so well. Like, I know, we really make an effort to do a lot of this stuff too. I'd love to hear some of the things that you do. You're opening the conversation in a non-threatening way. You're not in think about when a person's face to face like this, they're facing each other, you're in a very combative state, but your job is to come alongside them. So you're both walking in the same direction together, right? Holding hands, think of like a nice, pretty picture of that. And in that case, I would say, wow, that's awesome. Like, I'd love to hear some of your tips. There's so many, I come across people all the time that are just struggling with their young picky eaters. And you can draw a picture about somebody else, right, that they might be able to relate to. And that sometimes helps them to come around. And you can do it in ways like Michelle, just like you said, the 9 to 13 servings, but maybe not directly to them because you don't want to be combative. Maybe come around the side and say, that's so awesome. I gosh, we struggle to get 9 to 13 servings every day in our own diets. Like, it's a challenge, you know, it's a real constant effort to be putting fresh food in front of them and cutting up all these fruits and vegetables and making sure everything is clean and not going bad in their fridge, you know. And we just love Juice Plus because it's a really nice insurance package, you know, to make sure on the days that we are a little bit off that we're still getting everything that we need. And you see how that's not telling them that they're doing anything wrong, but it's illustrating for them how you utilize it and how, you know, how they could maybe draw a parallel to themselves. And eventually, if you kind of go down that talk track with people, you know, and you can ask them too, you know, I'm sure that a bunch of your friends look to you as a resource then if you're eating like that, because, you know, you've got it figured out. Like, it would be really cool to have a party and invite some of them to come to your house because they're already looking to you as this resource, right, for proper eating. What if we set up a party to educate them on some of this? Do you think some people would be interested in that? And again, you're coming around, you're acknowledging the good things that they are doing, and you're also inviting them to take a step, right? So that's one of the ways that I approach that. And I found that when you honor people and you honor their belief system, because that's a core belief of how you eat, you know, just like it was for me, I was in total denial because I didn't really know that there was all this other stuff going on at the same time. Then that tends to get them on the side of the fence. So the idea is through this whole exercise, you guys, is so that we're not telling them they're wrong and we're right. It's about really finding common ground so that we can connect and we can walk in the same direction towards, you know, where we want them to go. Okay. So the other part that I wrote down on this question was, I'll think about it and I'll get back to you. So if somebody says that to me, that tells me that they're completely disinterested, but they're trying to be polite. And so if I haven't been able to find that common ground with them, I let them go, you know, I let them go and I don't harp on it, and I pray for them and I, you know, pray that their mind will come open, and then I let them go. And then if there is the case where I know that they really need it and there's a real need, and maybe there is a little bit of interest, but they're not quite sure, I might just close for the next step. So it might be something like, you know, like I offered that solution of them doing the party for their friends. Wouldn't that be fun? You know, couldn't we do something like a smoothie in the jar, or smoothie in the jar, salad in the jar, you know, smoothie prep party or something, right? And then if they say, I'll think about it, I'll get back to you, then you could say, awesome, you know, would you mind if I sent you some pictures to show you what it looks like, and maybe just a little video or something to back it up? And then you're asking their permission to send them something. This is the biggest challenge. The biggest mistake I think people make is when they send something and the person doesn't know to expect anything. And all of a sudden something's landing like a email invitation to go to something, and they're like, okay, like what's that all about, right? They're not prepared to say yes. You want to prepare them to say yes. So another example of that piece of it would be, like, we have some upcoming events, and we talked about this as a team, the local team. We got together on Saturday morning for some planning stuff. And one of the things I said to them was, you know, I'm tweaking my language a little bit lately. I'm finding that I'm getting more success this way. When I have an event coming up, instead of inviting people to that actual event, I say things like this, like, hi, you need to get out. Mommy's in a meeting. Okay. I say, if you can be quiet, you can sit on my lap. Okay. I say things like, you know, I've got some events coming up, and I would really like, or better yet, you know what? On that note, I'd really like to invite you to my next event. We've got some things coming up. We have a couple of doctors speaking. We have a couple of whatever happening. You know, would it be okay if I called you and put you on that list? Because I would really like to, you know, to see you there. I think you'd get a lot out of it. You can prep them for the invitation so that they know that you're going to be inviting them. You know that it's really more about them in that moment than it is about you filling a slot in the event. If you call people and say, and I've done this as a mistake, it's just now kind of dawning on me, like, oh my gosh, I should have done this years ago. But if I just say things like, I've got this event, and he's a really good speaker, I'd really like for you to come, then all of a sudden I'm making it all about the event, and they're kind of the afterthought. But if I'm in conversation with somebody and we're talking about something, and I can say to them, hey, you know what, that brings up such a great point. And you know what it's got me thinking about? I know I have some events coming up, and I think that there might be a really good fit for this and what's being presented. Can I invite you to that? Would you be open to that? And you see how all of a sudden you're asking their permission to invite you to come to something, and you're drawing a bridge between what's important to them, what they're sharing with you, and what's happening in the future, right? I have a feeling if we tweak this a little bit, we're going to really have some increase in attendance. for things. How does that feel to you guys, that language?
Can I say something?
Yeah.
Say like for the Karen Jones event then, like we have that picture flyer thing that, and we want to invite people, but you're not in conversation with them all the time. Like if there's people that, you know, like what do you do then? Are you randomly inviting them? I mean, I would never just send that. I tell them something first, but
Sure.
you know what I'm saying?
Yes, I do know what you're saying. I think there's a mixture of things. I think there's some people in your life that you can just come out and invite them to something and they're going to show up and you know who those people are. And then there's other people who I think need to be primed a little bit, you know, and they need to see a reason for themselves. And they might be a little bit stubborn about getting out of their home, you know, and doing stuff where their time might be tight. So I think it's important to recognize who's in your life and know those differences. But in that case, I think, you know, you could really say something to the effect of, hey, remember that thing we had over the summer and I know you weren't able to make it? She's coming back to town and it's going to be really special. And, you know, everybody that came there the last time was so appreciative of being in the room. I really would love to give you that opportunity. Would you be open to coming?
Okay.
Right? But again, it's really, I'm trying to make it about them. Do you see how that's different? It's not about the event. It's not about the speaker. It's about them. It's about, you know, bridging them into that experience. Okay. Is that clear? Because I do want that to be clear for you guys.
Well, if you've got somebody that you didn't invite to the last group, or somebody who's come back into your life in a peripheral way, how do you start that conversation?
Well, you can just say something like, hey, listen, it's so nice to have you back in my life. I'm so happy to, you know, be back in communication with you. And I was thinking about you the other day as I was planning for this special evening that we're having at the church. And I would certainly, I don't know if you're around that evening or not, or even if this is of interest to you, but I would absolutely love to invite you to come and explore this a little bit with me and see if it's a fit, and see if, you know, it's about health and wellness and really this change in this movement of, you know, moving our health forward and what our company's doing. And you haven't, you know, I haven't gotten a chance to invite you to anything because we haven't been in touch in a long time, but everybody that came last time was so grateful to be there. And, you know, we really got some great information. I would love to have you come as my guest. Would you be open to that? You see how it gets, you're making it about them. It's always about them. Yeah.
I have a question.
Yes, go ahead.
So I've been talking to some people that I still know back in Westchester that I've kind of been, a little out of touch with, but like I see them on Facebook and stuff like that all the time and whatnot. And you know, it's a little difficult for me being like, hey, I'm in Florida, but I want you to go to this event, you know?
Well, you know what you could do though, Shannon, in this situation, if there's a mutual contact, like if they know any of the people on our team on the phone, you know, you could then say, hey, listen, Michelle's going to be there. Right? But you know what I'm saying? And you could call her to say, hey, and you could kind of like say, hey, Michelle, I'm going to call Vanessa at this time. Can you come on with me? You know, and available for me, you know, that kind of thing. And then that way you guys work as a team and Michelle can go, oh my gosh, I'm totally going to be there. It'll be so much fun to have you come. Yes. Bring your friends, like bring your kids, bring whoever. And let's do, you know, like, do you see what I'm saying? Like you make it comfortable for them to walk in that door. In fact, I made a message today to the New England, whatchamacallit, NMDs. Whoa. And I just said, hey, you know, I said, if you know anybody in the area and it's too far of a drive for you, please like lean on me so we can make an introduction and I can make them feel comfortable coming in. That's something that we do a lot with our organization. In fact, I had somebody contact me from Texas and ask me to help host their person, you know, that kind of thing. So so absolutely. We can do that. I'm going to close this door and hopefully nobody else is going to walk in. Hold on a second. Take the table in front of it because the locks don't work. My dogs know how to unlock the doors. It's bizarre. Okay. All right. So the next one we have is customer isn't ready for the renewal because they have a ton left and they aren't taking it regularly. So the first thing that pops into my mind when we hear that, you know, you call your customer and they're like, oh yeah, you know what? We actually haven't been taking it regularly. We've got like 3 bottles left. They're like, we hear this a lot, right? And this all, you guys, this all comes down to customer care. And that's why those first 90 days are so critically important. So, there are times when you've made every single call and they flat out lie to you and tell you that they're taking it. But there are also times when that doesn't happen and we don't make the call. And so we just have to be responsible for your side of the fence. Like if you know that you've made the calls and you know that they've told you they've been taking it, you can kind of tease them a little bit and go, well, my goodness, you should have told me before, because then, I could have taken, my job is to kind of manage the account and really work with you to help you take it on a regular basis. Some people have a hard time starting that habit. Let's back up a little bit. Like, are you still committed to this? Are you still looking for a way to get more, fruits and vegetables into your diet? Are you still, whatever the reasons that they, hold on one second. Hey, Paul, you need to get Gabby now. Okay. Sorry. We all deal with the same things. But, work with them and see if they can start over again. See if you can restart the habit. If you can work with them, say, you know what, why don't we do this? What if we, for the next 21 days, or make it 28 days, what if we, for the next 28 days, work together to make sure that we'll be accountability partners? You text me when you take yours, I'll text you when I take mine, and we'll work together. The first and foremost thing is you have to find out if they have a desire. If they have a desire to take it, if they have a desire to still make that change, if they haven't accomplished what they started to get onto it for in the beginning, If they're just signing up to help you guys, you're setting yourself up for trouble because they'll buy one box to support a friend or a family member. They'll buy a second box to keep you happy, but they're not going to take that third box, and then they're going to have a total overload of product, and that doesn't feel good for anybody. So, it's really important in the customer care, if you spot that, if you're like, okay, I've got a family member who signed up solely to help me, pull in a leadership, person, a resource so that we can help you do some customer care calls with them and try to find a reason for them to stay on it. And if they're not in that place, then you gotta, look for other orders and stuff to replace that to protect your numbers and keep you in qualification and all the other stuff. Okay. So just be conscious of that. But it really is about having a why. Just like if you have a reason why we want to work our business, they have a reason why they want to take the product. So it's important that we know what that is and we help them accomplish that goal. Okay. So does that kind of answer that piece of it? Yeah.
And just going in on that too, it's a nice little tip too when you do start off a new customer, and we've mentioned this before, but if you have somewhere where you're making notes about them when they're starting off, to write down that reason why, because as your customer base builds, you might not remember their reason why they were starting. So if you can just keep some little, cheat sheet notes for yourself so you have something to refer back to.
Yeah, that's a great point. And one of the things that I do is I keep a binder of my customers, and so I take their customer order forms and I fill them out, and then on the back of them I keep the notes, and I keep them in, for the bigger organizations like the gyms and things. We have them separated by alphabetical or by month that they signed up, so we know when they're going to be reshipping and stuff. But I think that's helpful. Just like a teacher you would in a classroom, I used to do that for my students. I do it there for our customers, and it's really helpful to know, oh, you know what? They were interested in heart health. I tried to get them to see Dr. Sachs, but I wasn't able to, maybe the next round, that kind of thing. And then you keep it moving on. So, but definitely the why is important. And it's also going to help you set expectations. If they come in and they're like, yeah, I want to lose 45 pounds in the first month of T30, you're going to be like, okay, so let's talk about that a little bit. Are you looking for a quick fix or a long-term solution, right? We can work through that a little bit, but it's important. Okay, so I'm going to move to the next one because we're already running short on time. So it's too expensive. Who hears that? Because we all hear it sometimes. Here's how Jay talks about it, and I love this because this is how I've adopted the language as well. If you really do think about it, first and foremost, I have to ask you how you feel about it, because if you think it's expensive, typically we project that onto other people and don't even know it. But when I look at one tiny little carton of blueberries, like the tiny, tiny little ones, I was in Whole Foods the other day, I almost took a picture. It was $5.49 for that tiny little thing. Okay, that's like one serving of produce. We're getting 30 for $2 a day. It's the most affordable way to eat healthy that I've ever found. And when I talk to people about it like that, when I come to them and I go, oh my gosh, you're not even going to believe how affordable, I don't use the word cheap because that can denote bad things, but I say how affordable this is. It's crazy that a family of 4 can get on Juice Plus for literally the cost of a Starbucks coffee every day. Like, it's crazy. And that's true. You know, so if you think about it and you do the math and you look at how that breaks down, like, it's absolutely incredible that we can offer this to people in such an affordable way. So it's all about how you frame it.
I have a question.
Yeah.
How would you handle, like, in school, this is where it always happens. So it's expensive is a big thing.
Yeah.
But I eat lunch with them every day, and I see what they take in their hand every day, and they're going to Whole Foods and buying those crazy juicing shakes or whatever it is, and, you know, ordering this from Rodan and Fields and I sit there just in my head, I'm like, okay, but it's too expensive for Juice Plus. How? But I can't say anything. Like, I don't know, would you just drop it at that point? Because obviously to me that means like they really have no interest.
It's not so much the interest, it's the understanding. They still haven't quite gotten enough education for them to validate the purchase. That's it. Okay. So if you go back to the point of, you go, okay, every person needs an average of 6 to 7 exposures before this makes sense to them. And some of us are on the phone. I was a 6-monther. Like, it took me 6 months before I said yes to the product and the business. Like, at all. I wasn't ready to buy anything, but I was ready to tell other people about it. I was looking for a way to find the money for it. And I went from a medium Starbucks to a small. So it's about really, I'm not kidding. That's totally what I did. Because it made it, I was like, wow, that already, and then I went on the Vineyard and went, oh, well, what the hell, I'll try it. And my migraine medicine went away. And then I was saving $50 a month. And I went, wow, I'm even making money now. You know, this is great. So, you know, my point is that it's about education. You just haven't quite, and that's a good indicator for you. If you hear that, don't get discouraged. Go, okay, I get it. I know where they're at in the process. Now we have to peel back a little bit. And so you can ask some questions, Michelle, just kind of let that sink in if they say something. And then when they get their juice and you see that and go, oh my gosh, it looks amazing. How much is that? Like, it's expensive. Those look so delicious. Like, cause I'll tell you what, I buy those things too. They're like $9 for like one freaking juice. Like, it's crazy, you know, you get like 4 things in there. So when you really start to get them to see around, you know, and you can say little things, you can drop little hints. I mean, you know, I'm really grateful for, and not in an I told you so kind of a way, but you can say it in their presence or around when you just say, you know, I'm really grateful that we found a way for $5 a day to keep my family healthy and on track. Like, it's amazing to me. They may just not be breaking it down like that. They may just be thinking of like $70.
Yeah.
Whatever, right? And so it's a hi, Polly. It's a matter of getting them to really see it for what it is. So I think that's really important. Okay, we're at 6:30. If you guys want to stay on, stay on. And if you need to go, go, okay? Because we do have this recorded, but I want to, you know, address your questions as much as we can. All right, so number 4, I already take a whole food supplement, or a lot of times we hear I already take a vitamin. Is there somebody that wants to give a stab at how they have successfully responded to this? Because I want to hear your verbiage too.
I'll answer that if I'm
Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
I usually say that that Juice Plus is whole food-based nutrition, and it's not a vitamin and it's not a supplement. And then I'll go into talking a little bit about the servings of fruits and vegetables and that kind of thing. So I don't know if that's kind of the right thing to say.
Are they responding well to it?
Yeah, they have been, because they don't understand. Sometimes they think it's a supplement. And then I will talk about the nutrition label on the back.
Yeah.
It's a food label. It's not a supplement label, and that kind of thing. And some people don't realize that it's really food. It's not a vitamin. It's not a supplement.
Yeah. And I think, again, it's about getting on their side of the fence, right? So what you're doing in that illustration is you're coming to them and you're coming around the side, putting your arm around them and going, hey, let me like walk you down so you can see what I see a little bit, right? And you're painting a picture for them that they can then identify with and understand and really absorb and take in. For me, what I say to people is I say, you know what? It's really interesting how they make Juice Plus. And they go, you know, and I pause and I wait a little bit and then I take them around and I go, you know, it is so much different in the sense that, you know, vitamins were created to replace the foods that we weren't eating. And Juice Plus is the food that we're not eating. Like, it takes it 1,000 steps further than just a simple little vitamin tablet.
Go brush your teeth.
right? And that really paints like a bigger picture for them. And then it stops them enough so that they can think and maybe ask a question.
Mhm.
And, you know, and then I might say things like, I still can't believe that they could get 30 superfoods in these tiny capsules for less than a Starbucks coffee every day. Like, it's beyond ridiculous. But do you
I
see
think
how that
people-
already, go ahead. Yeah.
I think that people are also always surprised when you mention all the different testing that was done
Mhm.
and the certifications, the NSF. I like to bring that up because I thought it was cool the first time I heard about it.
Right. Well, okay, great point, Rona. So first and foremost, yeah, the testing sets us apart. Some people care, some people don't. But the important piece in that is it meant something to you when you learned about it. So it's very easy to share your own story, to share from your own place in this, right? And be able to say, well, you know what I found really interesting when I started looking at this was whatever those things are for you, because then you're being authentic. Then you're teaching them like what you were able to see and how you were able to come around to it, right? And I think all of that combined is really, you know, it's just it's the education. You're walking them down the road, right? You're giving them opportunities to ask questions and to see. Okay. Do you guys feel good with that one? Can I move to the next? Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So the next one, the hot loaded question, the Shakeology, the Ensure, the soy, and the weight loss, all wrapped up into the complete. Okay. So there's a couple of things around this. First and foremost, again, we have a nutrition label and not a supplement label. Okay. That alone differentiates on such a huge level. Some people are going to get that. Some people aren't going to get it. You may need to say it slowly and stop and let them think. And you say things like, it is really the whole food. It's not a bunch of stuff added to it. Right. And we know that when you eat food in its whole form, it does a better job than when it's all broken down. Okay, so that's the first differentiator on that piece. The second piece, the Shakeology, the Ensure, you know, I first asked them first for Shakeology, they are very expensive and they don't taste as good. So I asked them those two questions. Yeah, how much do those cost anyway? I'm always confused by that because I have heard some people that do get those and they'll tell you, you know, and then you can go, wow, oh my gosh, ours are like $2 a piece. How much are they? You know, and you like reinforce that piece. And then you go, well, do they taste good? Like, are they really good? Like, you know, and then I would give them a taste test and I'd give them a single serve and say, I would really love you to compare them for me and let me know what you think. Okay. That would be the way I would handle Shakeology altogether. We've had a tremendous amount of people come over to our side of the fence for that. Then they'll start to ask you the other questions like, will I lose weight and do all this other stuff? And you can then guide them. Yeah, Tulia, 1 second. You can then guide them to the resources. And this is where I just want to take you, like with the soy and all of it. Mitra Ray has done this all for us. We don't have to be experts in this field. You just have to simply say, if I send you something, will you watch it? You know, and that's an Eric Worre thing. That's the whole GoPro language, but it really does work. And I use it when it's appropriate. This is an appropriate situation where they're asking you questions about a product. You can then say, yeah, and you're touching on a really good topic. I'd love to get you some information. If I send you something, will you watch it? You're going to say yes. And then you're going to say, great, I'll send it right when we hang up. And then why don't we do this do you want to talk later today or tomorrow? When, you know, how much time do you need to watch a 10-minute video or a 4-minute video, whichever one you send them, okay? And get them to tell you when they're available so that you have that follow-up scheduled. And that will give you the green light to step into the next conversation, okay? And you can say things like, if you're really excited before then just text me or call me ahead of time. And prime them for that. Like set them up. Remember, how do you frame it? Like set them up for that, right? So that they're expecting to be excited. Which is what they should be. Which really and then the soy piece. So Tulia, did you have a question about that?
No, I just wanted to, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. I wanted to go back to the Shakeology thing because it's so funny that you said that because I actually got my coworker to switch from Shakeology to Juice Plus Complete by saying the exact same thing. When she told me, I was like, well, how much is that? And when she told me $139 for the month, I was like, or however, I was like, oh my God. I was like, you should totally try the Complete. It's like $30 and then she looked at me and was like, really? And I go, yeah, here, have a sample. And she dropped Shakeology like that and like ordered both chocolate and vanilla. So I got her as a customer like that, saying exactly what you said.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I even told her, I was like, and they don't even have, this is all whole food nutrition, and there's nothing, like, and they taste better, and there's nothing added to it.
Right.
And she was totally on board with everything that you just said.
Awesome.
That's it. That's all I wanted to say.
Great.
All right, so the soy for the new people on the phone, we get a lot of questions about soy. Mitra has put up an awesome video. If you search in our files on the Honeybees Facebook page, you're going to find all this stuff. It's there. You can also go into the missiondrivenmodel.info, and under the product section, I'm not going to take the time to share screen because we're kind of running behind here, but I wanted you to know that you can go there, and under the video key at the top, you'll see a section where it says soy, and you can click on that, and there's responses to that from the corporate office, okay? So there's a lot of resources for you in this.
Which website was that?
Missiondrivenmodel.info.
Okay.
At the top, yeah, under the product key where it shows the little side of like the video camera. There's all these different topics, and those are safe YouTubes that you can send. Okay. All right, and then for weight loss, again, I think that you need to, I always try to, when people come to me with an objection, I respond with a question. Okay, that's the first and foremost. Like, always come back to them with a question. Then you're not in a combative state, you're in a curious state. And you get a lot further with people that way. And people get a lot further with me that way. Being combative, I'm like, go take a hike, But if they come with me and they're like, wait, I want to know more about, or whatever, then I talk to them. Okay, so on this one for the weight loss, I usually respond in this sense, and Danielle, I'm going to cue you into this too because this is your hot topic here. You're like the expert. But what I ask them is, what are your main goals? Like, tell me about that. And then I let them tell me what they want to do. Is it a short-term 5 pounds because I have a wedding to go to? Is it a long-term, I want to lose 25, 30 pounds and get healthy? Is it I'm getting concerned because my so-and-so had cancer? Is it whatever? But tell me about that. And I let them talk. Because that's the bigger, more important thing. And I can tell you right now, if they're looking at Shakeology and these other things, these people are trying to sell them products. They don't care about the long-term relationship like we do. It's different. We want people around in our life. Like I say, I want to be 100 and I want to be dancing, dropped it on a dance floor somewhere. I don't know, I just want to live a really fun, long, happy life. And I want a lot of friends to come along with me. I'd much rather celebrate, birthdays than other stuff. So, Danielle, how do you respond to that when people kind of bring up the whole T30? You've been so great at sharing the shakes.
Yeah, well, as so many of you know too, it's part of my personal story as well. So it's something that I am very passionate about. But I do go back to the same tools that you're talking about, asking them questions. What are they looking to achieve? What are they trying to, accomplish? And it goes back to making notes and doing that good customer care as well. So if it's something that, I think T30 might make sense to them and I've shared it with them, they're open, we've had questions, dialogues, what have you. I'm going to make sure that I take really good care of them and check in with them frequently to sort of help them troubleshoot along the way. Because I think probably, a handful of people on the call here now have had experiences where people start to have those detoxes or the bloating or the this or the other thing. And when we're not reaching out to them and doing that customer care, they kind of just think, well, it's not working. Like, it doesn't agree with me. I want to cancel. You kind of go through all of that. So I try to stay in really good conversation with some of those people that had some of those maybe more aggressive goals. They really, want to achieve a lot, kind of really handhold them and continue to ask if they're open to more education and just plug them into whatever we've got going on. If there's some sort of call, if there's another video, if there's an event coming up, if it's even a smoothie party, even that little bit where you can get them in a room with other people who have had an experience helps to reinforce, their decision and what they're going through and just hear other stories.
Awesome. How do you approach when people do just want to lose a little bit? They're not trying to go for the long run. They're really going for the wedding that's in a month or less.
Yeah. And that's a good question too. Again, asking questions, well, like one, what are they doing in their life? Two, because there are no quick fixes. There's no quick fix in, dropping weight. If you're going to do something quick, however you're doing it, you're probably going to gain it right back. Right. And that's really not good for anybody. So, again, going along with some education on why your body might be holding on to that weight, how we can work through it to, rid some of the toxins, shed some fat. What else are you eating? How are you working out? And maybe work with them on some other areas or avenues in their life. If they aren't exercising, well, maybe work with them to plug them in somewhere. Because nutrition, exercise, it all goes hand in hand. If they're doing one and not the other, they're not going to have whatever results they want.
Right. Or the shred too. I think that's a really good jump start for people, in that kind of situation where they're willing to commit to something little, but not something long-term. Because there's all different, people make decisions in different ways. So some people are just like, I'll make a decision for now, or I'll do, like, if you listen to their speech and how they talk about other things too, it could be things like, like for me, when I usually think in a 3 to 5 year position. I don't know why, but my brain is geared towards that. So I can make decisions for 3 to 5 years, where other people can make sure decisions for a week, or whatever, but or 10 years from now, I'll be doing whatever, it's like, if you listen to how they kind of run their life, they'll kind of tell you what their behaviors will match up to also, but you can suggest something short. You can say, well, you can do this. It's really designed as a jump start, but I'm sure you'll have a really awesome experience. Honestly, you guys, sometimes people just getting on the shakes moves their bowels along enough that they lose 5 pounds in the first week because they're all of a sudden, pooping and they haven't been for a long time. So you just don't know. But I think just trying to find out which step is comfortable for them and where are they willing to place that foot. That's the most important piece, and then helping them take that.
Yeah, it's just taking one step.
Yeah. And one simple change too is another great way to kind of focus on that kind of stuff. All right. So we've got 2 more left. So potential distributors. So Lauren gave me this question and she said, I'm not a salesperson. And that's kind of the response that she's getting. And I got to tell you, I love it when people say that to me. My response to them is good. I'm so glad that you said that, because first and foremost, every single successful person I've ever met in this business has said that exact statement. I am not a salesperson. And the people who come on as salespeople typically don't know what they're doing. They try to, run through this because Shannon, you're so funny. Because in traditional sales, it's different than what we do here. And, my dad, I hope he's not listening, Mom, but my dad, all the time will be like, rah, 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 and I'm like, but I go, and I just shake my head and I'm nice and polite. But I know that if he ever decided to take this business seriously, I'm going to have to get Chris Cotton or somebody to come coach him, because he's not going to listen to me. And he's going to have to unlearn a lot of the stuff that he learned. The things that salespeople can take with them, okay, that really make an impact in what we do is their tenacity for follow-up, okay, their attention and their dedication to the numbers and hitting goals. Those are good qualities, right? And really their I don't know if it's competitive nature, if that's the right way to say it, but their desire to succeed, that ambition piece. Those are the things that salespeople can bring in that are going to make a big impact and really help in the game of it all. But the rest of it is a lot falls in the education side of things. So particularly when I find people that are not, that are teachers, or they're sheepish, or they're, they just, they're a little bit more reserved. I love working with people like that, because people take them more seriously. When you're not shouting around all the time and yapping your mouth, people do really want to hear what you have to say. And so I think it's great when we have people that are a little bit more introverted, or, I find that they get really focused on things, and they can, deliver it in such a nice, non-threatening way that people go, that is really interesting, right? So much of the time people are just responding to our energy, you guys, 90% of it. It's about what we're bringing to the conversation, not so much what we're saying. So if we're interested and we're focused, then if we're interesting, then they'll listen, too.
How you make them feel.
How we make them feel. Thank you. So that is how I respond. So I'm not a salesperson. I just say, great, that's awesome. And I actually say, when I came in, I was a salesperson, and gosh, it was the worst thing, because I had to unlearn all these things. I think you'll be in a much better position starting off. So let's just make sure, do the products make sense to you? If the products make sense to you, the business might too. And I kind of, again, I try to get on their side of the fence and take a step with them, right? And then in a lot of cases, if you're new especially, you might want to just say something like, would you be open to, a call with my friends, and we can walk through some of this stuff and see if it's a good fit.
Mm-hmm.
That's the other language that I use. Would you see if it's a good fit? Okay, so it's getting late and you guys are tired, and I know. So disease specific, I'm going to stop with this one at the end here. We had a couple more that were left over, but for sake of time. So I asked Shannon to kind of run through this one with me because she had one specific thing that kind of popped up. But do you want to just kind of bring this topic on and what you were asking me earlier about the kidneys and all that?
Yeah, so one of my friends has been posting on Facebook about I actually haven't talked to her in a while, but I just see her post on Facebook, and I'm wondering if this would be a good fit and if I could approach it, because I think it would be, but I don't know. But she's on all kinds of like steroids and talking about how puffy her face is and from, going through all this. So I don't know the specifics. I just know she has some form of kidney disease and is having all kinds of issues.
Okay. All right. So when there's two instances, you're noticing something in somebody and you want to help. That's what's happening in your report.
Yeah.
A lot of times people will come to us and they'll say things like, I don't know, I have diabetes. I can't eat all that fruit. Like, I don't know how, if that'll help me or not, right? Or somebody with pregnancies, they have specific things that they can and can't eat, and I have to check with my doctor and all this other stuff. In any of these cases, what you really want to just remind people, again, that's just another key to you that they haven't gotten enough education, and you want to help them peel back a couple steps and just remind them that this is food, right? And so I would ask them the question, whether even before I say that, I ask them the question, would your doctor be happy if you were eating more fruits and vegetables? And do you see how that totally cuts it right at the knees? Well, of course, your doctor's going to be happy for eating more fruits and vegetables, right? So if they say no to that, I would ask why, because there might be a very specific answer. If somebody's on Coumadin or that kind of stuff, they are usually told not to eat green leafy vegetables. And that would be a great thing, you could say something like, what, I've run into this before a couple of times, and I have a friend who's helped some of my friends. Like, can I get you on the phone with her to talk through this if there's some interest, right? If they feel like they don't have a need, again, like some people feel like they're just, I don't know, they're just stuck in whatever they're stuck in, and their identity is more identified with the disease or the ailment than it is with getting well. That's a tough situation to be in, and I don't know how much you're really going to, change with that person. But you can always invite them. You can just keep on inviting them to take a look. I don't know if this is for you, but it may not, I don't know if it'll help or not, but would you be open to taking a look? And then we have tons of resources where we can connect a story to them or whatnot, right? To make them feel more comfortable. But again, hearing it from somebody other than us, hearing it from a third-party source is really going to be helpful. And two, really just, I think the most important thing in this one is just understanding that fruits and vegetables are just the foundation for good nutrition. And when you can build that foundation strong, you can build a healthy body on top of it. If you're lacking those essential pieces that are right at the baseline, you can't really move much forward than that. You can mask symptoms with chemicals and medicines and whatever, but you're going to have a hard time healing your body, right? And fruits and vegetables heal. And the more you consume, the better you are. And I always end with a joke on that one where I kind of say, look, I know this is going to sound kind of silly, but it's true. Fruits and vegetables aren't sexy, but they're kind of important, And the truth is that 75% of our plate should come from that space. And I know I'm not always perfect in the way I eat, and it's just been a really awesome experience for me. Would you be open to giving it a try? And just again, that question, would you be open? So kind of meeting them from that. The pregnancy piece. Does anybody have any questions about pregnancy? Yeah. Go ahead, Marie.
Yeah. Margaret, my girlfriend Debbie's daughter I just found out she's pregnant, and I don't really know how to address it with her because we're not exactly close. So.
Okay, so your friend is Debbie.
We went to her wedding.
And you went to her wedding. You can call her and say, hey, listen, I've been thinking about you. I'm so excited about the news. I would be remiss if I didn't share this with you. But one of the things that Melissa did through her pregnancies is she took something called Juice Plus. Our family has sworn by it. It's been a huge impact in our life. It's just fruits and vegetables. It's proven to deliver safer, healthier babies, safer pregnancies, and it's recommended by thousands of doctors. Are you open to some information? Is there any way that I can maybe connect her and Melissa on the phone? You know, I care enough to share with you about it, you know, and you come from that place of heart strength. It's about caring for people, right?
Yep. Great. Thanks.
Marie, what was your question, Marie?
Yeah, actually, this is coming from my other half.
Okay.
I want to address what he says, well, ask Melissa. I said, I will. Oh, I ran into, I was at a vendor fair Saturday. I was talking to a pregnant woman who was very interested. I'm going to be calling her tomorrow. We're going to talk some more. And my husband said that I should, suggest or recommend that she talk to her doctor before taking Juice Plus. I said, why? And so I'm just asking you, what's your thought on that?
I absolutely, okay, so the reason that he might say something like that is because he's a caring man who, you know, wants to make sure that this woman is going to be okay if she takes it. And all that tells me is he needs a little bit, Mike, if you're listening, you need a little bit more education, and we want you to come hang out with us more. So here's the deal. Would your doctor be happy if you were eating more fruits and vegetables, right? That same question?
Exactly.
Yeah, the more you consume, the healthier your body is. Fruits and vegetables don't discriminate. They don't. They don't care if you're fat or young, or ugly or pretty or short or tall or you know, what kind of nationality. If you eat more, you get healthier. And that's what this is. It's in a capsule.
I think where he's coming from is he thinks that if I actually tell somebody to go to their doctor and ask them, it's like, wow, she really cares about me. She's not just trying to sell me something. I'm like, yeah, what if she goes to that doctor and he says no?
Well, and the doctors oftentimes do say no, and I just want you guys to be prepared for this. If their malpractice, you know, their insurance is very, very expensive, and they get sued for lots of different stuff that you would never even imagine. And so they're extremely overly cautious. And unless they have, you know, complete training and knowledge of something, they're going to say no because they have to. That's it, period. So some of them, it is rare. I mean, I think I came across one doctor in all of this experience of 9 years that was like, I know about Juice Plus and it's not much of anything, and like totally dismissed it. And I was like, I didn't get it, you know, but then I found out he was selling something else in his office and he just wanted them to buy that. So, you know, the bottom line is that the ones who know, they've signed an ethical oath and they've read the research and they understand and that they know it's going to do good things. So if they consume it, good things will happen. And that's what we should end on, I think. But yeah. It's food, guys. It's food, and it's safe for everybody, and it doesn't discriminate. And the more you eat, the healthier you get. And if you eat too much, you'll turn orange. That's when you know you've gone too far. The beta carotene will go crazy on you. But other than that, eat up. All right. Is this helpful? Did you guys like this? We're trying to respond to all of the requests, all the things that you want.
Thank you.
All right, good. So go look up some of those cool tools and come back to us and report. We want to hear all about what you found, okay? Because they're out there.
Thank you, Melissa. Bye.
Bye, guys.